Brought to you by Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Sulky threads. Express yourself with Sulky and create with confidence.
Hi, welcome to Quiltmaker's Block Network. I'm Paula Stoddard from Quiltmaker magazine. Today I'm going to share with you Flowers for You, block number 150. This is a block that I designed for Quiltmaker's 100 Blocks Volume 2. For this 12-inch block, you're going to need one background fabric and 3 or 4 assorted green fabrics, and then you're going to need some assorted wool for the applique patches. The cutting directions and everything else you need to make this block can be seen on your screen. The first thing you're going to need to do is to piece the background of your block. So you'll do this by sewing 4 green squares together for the bottom and then sewing those 4 squares to the background piece. This will complete the background for your block. The next thing you need to do is prepare your wool applique shapes. Now this is the pattern sheet for with your wool applique shapes. You'll notice that some of these shapes overlap each other. As you trace them onto your paper-backed fusible web, don't overlap these pieces. Everything needs to be traced separately. Another thing that I like to do is to group the colors. So the sheep's feet and his nose, face, and ears and tail, I like to group together into one place on the fusible web so that it's easier to cut out. So here you can see I've traced my applique shapes. I've traced the green leaves all together in one place, all the black shapes together in one place, and the yellow shapes all together in one place. After you've traced your shapes, you need to cut them out. You need to cut them out with just a little bit of space outside the drawn line. And then you'll lay your shapes onto the appropriate wool. So I've laid them out onto the purple and pink for the flowers and the other colors for the other shapes. Then you'll fuse your shapes onto the wool. Then you're going to need to cut out your wool applique shapes. I like to use serrated scissors, small scissors. It makes it a lot easier to cut out the wool. And you're just going to cut your wool out right on the drawn line, just like this. After you've cut out all your shapes, you need to peel the paper off the back of the wool, and then you need to arrange your shapes. I like to arrange all my shapes at one time so that I can press them all at once. Some people like to arrange them by layer and press as they go, but I have had one too many instances where I've pressed something and then realized something should have gone behind it, and then you're kind of stuck. So I like to place everything all at the same time. Now at this point, there's going to be some flower stems that you need. So before you fuse everything down, I like to draw the flower stems. So you just take a pencil and just draw your stem. And you'll just finish drawing your stems like this. Then you can place your leaves. And you'll know the placement for the leaves after you've drawn the stems. So you can place your leaves like this. And then after you've placed everything, you fuse all the pieces down. You use a hot iron with a lot of steam, and you hold your iron over your shapes for maybe 5, 6, 7 seconds. And then you can take your iron up and you can test it and see if all of your shapes have been fused. If you still have some edges that are a little bit loose, you can iron it again. Then when you're done, you can flip the whole thing over and iron it from the back. And when you're done, your block will look like this. I like to use a blanket stitch around most of my applique shapes and then a stem stitch to do the stems. I like to use a black stitch around the sheep just so that it shows up, but you can use the same color thread for your sheep if you'd like. But this is your finished block, and you can have lots of fun putting it into different quilts. This is a quilt color option that I made for our July-August 2011 issue. This was an original pattern by Heidi Pridemore called Tumbling Monkeys, and in her quilt she had monkeys in these squares. And so I took this block and I put this block into this quilt and changed up the colors. And so you can show that this is a very versatile block. You can throw it into any quilts that you like, and it adds a lot of fun and texture to your quilts. Flowers for You and 99 other original blocks can be found in Quiltmaker's 100 Blocks Volume 2. Thanks for visiting Quiltmaker's Block Network. We'll see you next time. My favorite thing about working at Quiltmaker magazine is the great people that I get to work with. They're creative and they're funny and they're a little bit weird like me. That's my favorite part of the job. I like all the other stuff. I like working with the designers. I like learning something new every day. And sometimes the learning curve feels really big, but in the end, it's been a great experience.